back hear me? Or the cool kids at the back of the classroom, as they say. So, it's going to give it a good 10 seconds, let some final stragglers come in and sit down, do highlight any kind of open spaces available for them. That'll be really great. So, my talk is about why you're not ranking position 1 on Google. It's going to be a very, very interesting, fun talk. This session has been recorded, but the live version is better because I'm more funnier in person than I am just on camera. You'll also get a copy of the presentation. One thing I want to highlight is I've put a lot of hyperlinks and content. It's very informationally focused, the presentation. The idea is that you can literally take the presentation deck away with you, follow it as a guide and implement it yourself. So it's not a sales pitch, it's very, very educational. There's a lot more information on the slide than what I'll talk about, and I'll elaborate on some key points where needed. So before we begin, I always like to get a bit of the lay of the land. It's just by show of hands. If you come from a B2B background, just raise your hands. Thank you. Ooh, quite a few. If you come from a B2C background, right, fantastic. A bit of both. Yeah, okay, fantastic. Yeah, one of the cool ones. Right, so it doesn't really matter which background you kind of come from. The presentation is guided towards both B2B and B2C. Before we begin, we're Ball Digital, we're the best agency in Leeds. Yes, we are far away from home. What we're doing on the wrong side of the Pennines. I'm here to educate, not to get kicked out anytime soon by any Scouse police. I've got over 10 years, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I can say that. I've got over 10 years experience in digital marketing, working for some of the leading marketing agencies in the world before setting up Ball Digital. I'm an advocate of digital marketing education, which is why I'm here talking. Feel free to tag us at Ball Digital, use me on LinkedIn, at Manfred Singh. Feel free to take any pictures. I shaved last night, but this side's better. This side's too short, so go for this angle if you can. It'll make me look better. Straight into it. This is what we're here for. What is the focus on the seminar? I want you to really understand what SEO is. Talk about the 3 pillars of SEO that we've created as an agency, which is the fundamentals you should follow wherever you are as a business. I'm going to talk about some Google Trends and updates at the end, and tips and checklists that you can go through with a real case study example. So by show of hands, again, bit of audience participation. If you can explain, people said they were from a B2B background, some B2C, if you can explain in 2 to 4 keywords, one of your products or one of the services that you offer. Just 2 to 4 keywords. We've got 1 and 2, 3. It's very, very shocking. You should be able to explain in around about 2 to 4 keywords, at least one of your service offerings or one of your products. Now for us, an example, it would be PPC agency Leeds, localised, because that's where we're based. That's one of the services that we offer. So if you're thinking of 2 to 4 keywords, if I was to pull someone out, I'm not going to, and get the phone out and put that into Google, would you be on page 1 for that service? So if that's what the potential customer is going to search for, or type into Google or Bing, and that's what you want to rank for and be competitive for, why are you not on page 1? Because a lot of customers these days, they go past the ads and they focus on the organic search results elements beyond Google. These days, Google Ads and SEO has to work together. Case study example, and I checked at 9:08 this morning, just to double make sure. If you type in PPC agency, after all these ads that you see, we're position 1. That means I don't have to spend all that £20 per click CPC cost, where all those people have been in for. It means I get a lot of organic clicks. It goes directly to our PPC page on our website, so you have to practice what you preach. There's no point me here standing here telling you how to get to number 1, position 1 of Google, if I'm not there myself and haven't done it or achieved it myself. So there's a little case of the example, and you can get on your phones now and check for it, and we should be position 1, and we're in the map pack as well. So, I love this quote, I mentioned it on my podcast. Google is a mountain. It can't be moved, but it can be climbed, and that's the focus of this presentation. Now, a bit of a background on SEO in terms of what the scale is. So, Google does a lot of algorithm updates constantly, and one thing you need to understand is SEO isn't about just hitting your audience, the user experience. There's also another key person in the world that you need to adapt to, and that name is Google, unfortunately. 92% market share, which I'll showcase. This data goes up to around about 2018. We don't have any data pre-COVID because Google hasn't really shared that information. Google's got a lot more closed as a platform in terms of sharing its actual data and insights. But what we know, there's over 9 algorithm changes a day. So you've got to keep up with platforms like Google and Bing constantly because they're constantly evolving and changing. You've got roughly 5.6 billion searches a day, over 2 trillion searches a year. That's a hell of a lot of searches, that's a hell of a lot of content, a lot of landing page URLs and key pages that you want to rank for. So the market share, why do I focus more on Google and not talk about Bing or Yahoo? 92% market share globally. Now if you go to the website statcounter.com, you can change that by looking at it, whether it's in UK, Spain, Germany, US, Australia. It tells you exactly in the world what percentage market share Google has, which is why it's important to consider Google as part of your SEO strategy. 92.01%, and that's at the end of 2022. You don't have 2023 figures here. And apparently they don't have a monopoly. Yeah. So the 3 pillars of SEO, technical, content, links. And what does that mean? So technical is everything to do with the technical ability of your website. It's your website. How fast is it? Site maps, speed, H1, H2 tags, formatting of URLs, redirections, titles, descriptions. It's all to do with the mechanical elements of your website. Content is all about the on-page keyword elements of the website. So keyword research, making sure you've got the right keywords. So when I do that exercise, try to think of the 2-4 keywords that you want to rank for Google. What are people going to search for? You need to make sure those keywords are optimized within content on page, and that content is optimized in such a logical way that Google as a bot can crawl your website, index it, and get your ranking on Google. And links is all off page. It's got to do with some elements on your website, internal linking from one content piece, one landing page to another, but predominantly outreach, so we call it, buying links, but focus on quality over quantity. It's all about your site authority. So let's start with technical. So what is technical SEO for those people in the room that don't know? It's all about the practices and improvements that you need to make to improve the user journey on your website. How many times do you go on a website and you get frustrated and annoyed because it's too slow to load, or things move around as you're on the website, or you can't really find the information you're kind of looking for because the website's making it very, very difficult? But as I said earlier, there's 2 people to consider. There's the user, but there's also the search engine as well. And from a technical point of view, you need to focus more on what Google likes, unfortunately, as opposed to what user likes. Because Google's the one that's going to index your website. It's going to send bots to your website, as the example below. It's going to send bots and spiders to your website. It's going to index your page if you follow all the key criteria from the technical elements, which we'll go through. And if you're successful in answering specific questions, all those keywords or topics or questions that people answer Google, then you'll start indexing. And then over time, you'll go from page 10 to 5 to 2 to 1 to eventually position 1, and that takes time. And my clicker stopped working. Oh, there we go. So technical SEO in a nutshell, feel free to take a picture of this graph. There's 5 key fundamental elements. Crawlability, indexability, and accessibility. These are the blocking forms of anything technical. The 2 things you have control over, though, are rankability and clickability. What people click on and how you rank for specific keywords. They're the building blocks of technical SEO. So how does Google understand your website? Well, that's the key element. How does Google understand your website? You've got to put your views in the... Well, you've got to basically put yourself in the view of an artificial intelligence, essentially. So it uses structured data, which is basically putting code on your specific site in a clear, structured way, so it's logically placed to allow bots and elements to find your data. Now, people do that in specific ways. There's a link there that you click on to stuff like FAQs, blogs, job posting, recipes, movie listings, anything that you put on your website, you should. So if you have a particular service page, you come from a B2B background, and let's say it's us as PPC, we'll have certain FAQs on that landing page to answer specific questions that people have. That benefits your SERPs in terms of your organic rankings, SERPs and search engine result pages for anyone who doesn't know. Google uses JSON LD as its preferred schema markup, and if you want to test that, click on the link again within the document. And if you don't have a schema markup, there's a free tool link at the bottom for you to generate one automatically, so you can understand where you sit with your schema and structured data. Core Web Vitals. Hands up if you're looking at your Core Web Vitals as a website right now. This guy's putting his hand up all the time. He switched on. So nobody else. Core Web Vitals came out in July 2021. Does anybody know what the other big update before 2021 was? Does anybody remember the EAT guidelines? EAT? Expertise, authoritiveness, trustworthiness. That came out around about end of 2018, 2019. That focused on the second pillar, which is all about content. Core Web Vitals, which came out in July 2021, focused on the first pillar, technical. So it looks at three key things. Your largest contentful page, which is the largest element of your website. So if you go on your home page, that's going to be the big gallery image you have at the top of the page, or it could be a video that you're loading. That has to load in under 2.5 seconds, all that element. Then you've got your first input display, which is an FIP, which is how long it takes for the browser, whether it's Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Mozilla, doesn't really matter. How long does that take to interact with your web page? And you've got to do that under 100 milliseconds. We're talking Formula 1 speeds now in terms of like gaps and elements. And same with commutative layout shift. So that is when, if you go from one page to another page and the header moves or the call to action moves and it changes from mobile view to desktop view, that commutative layout shift, which is all about the user experience from one page to another page, has to be seamless, again, under 100 milliseconds. Now you can get your own Core Web Vital score by just going to Google PageSpeeds.dev. So if you type in Google PageSpeed into Google, put in any URL of your website or your homepage website, it will tell you your mobile score and your desktop score. And guess what? Always the desktop score is better than mobile, and that is a problem when it comes to technical SEO. Why? Because of mobile friendliness. Back in 2016, 2021, 2016, Google went mobile first with websites, so you had to do mobile first design. In 2021, it went to mobile first indexing. So if you're not on page one of Google and you haven't considered the mobile version of your website first, forget about it. You're not going to get to page one. Simple as. How many times clients come to us, oh, we're stuck, we're always at position 12 or 11, we can't get to page one. And then when we do the Core Web Vitals and we do the audit, we realize that actually, you're not mobile first in design, you're not mobile first for indexing. And that's what Google requires. And it's really, really important. It means that the site content has to be the same on desktop as it is on mobile, in terms of what you do. It means that the Google bots must be able to access and render the content on any device. So it can't just be PC, it's got to be Mac as well, it's got to be iOS, it's got to be Google, it's got to be Samsung, whatever it is you're using. Structured data should be tested on both versions of the website. Remember, if you've got pop-ups for stuff like, you know, cookies or sign-ups to newsletters, that's got to be seamless as well. And then make sure any kind of video, images, content is mobile friendly first. Because a lot of people, what we find is, you'll update an image to your desktop and it'll look really nice on the gallery image, but you haven't optimized the site for your mobile device, which is a 1080 by 1080 pixel. So if you think about like how you do ads on social media, you've got a square box. That's how your image is going to come up on mobile. You should be uploading two versions of images and videos to your website. A version for your mobile, in terms of mobile first design, and a second one for your desktop. Don't use the same one and let whether you're using WordPress or Shopify as a website, for example, don't let it do it automatically, do it separately yourselves. And if you want to test your mobile friendliness, there's a link at the bottom that you can use to test it and it'll give you a full score, tell you what you need to improve, where you're going wrong. And the biggest thing that comes out from any technical audit we do is next-gen formats for images. So they need to be served in next-gen formats. So too many people upload them as like JPEGs or PNGs with large file sizes. You've got to upload them as different formats. And then don't forget redirection. So that's when you get to a website and it says 404 error. Make sure that anything that has been discontinued as a URL is moved on to the new URL. So for example, if you did a blog article which was like top digital marketing trends of 2022 and you redid one for 2023 and you want to discontinue 2022, make sure you redirect it to the new one, etc. Sitemap, hands up if you know what your sitemap is, or if you have a sitemap, submit to Google Search Console. Again, only a few hands, again, scary. If you don't know what your sitemap is, type in your domain /sitemap.xml and it'll give you your sitemap automatically. You should be uploading that and submitting that to Google Search Console so that it can help rank and format. And that's important from a robot.txt file. Again, go to your domain /robots.txt. That basically tells Google, these URLs I don't want you to look at, this content I don't want you to look at, but this is what the priority is. Same with your sitemap. You're telling Google, this is my priority, because you only get a limited amount of crawl budget from Google. So I can't really explain what crawl budget is or what put value to it. Basically, you've got to confer within Google's key guidelines. So for example, Core Web Vitals, you've got to be within 100 milliseconds. There's a lot of checklists that the Google bots will do. If they get to a particular landing page and it's taking too long for certain information, URL, site speed, content, anything to load, it's going to stop and move to the next page. Which means that page never gets indexed with Google. It means you're not going to be able to rank or get the value out of that content that you spent to get onto the page one, position one of Google. So remember that in mind. Content SEO. Remember, Websites don't rank for keywords, web pages rank for keywords. So the example I gave at the beginning was our PPC service. We offer loads of services, you can find out more afterwards. But all that content goes to our PPC service page specifically, because that's the web page that we focus on, not our homepage. Our homepage is good, it's good for people to come to, people that are searching for the brand. But if people in market for PPC or SEO services, we want to be at the top of Google so they come to us first. What I see as a common trait is people like too much of going to the homepage. That's lazy and old school SEO, not doing you any favors. Big difference. People think content marketing and SEO content are the same thing. They are not. And stop using ChatGPT to cheat as well. We know what you're doing. Anyone in this room, and I feel you're laughing because I know. So content writing is great. If you've got in-house content writing, fantastic. But the content writers writing blogs, new landing pages, etc., and submitting it to the website. SEO takes that content and restructures it so it follows all the best practices and checklists that you need to do. So that's why keyword research is important, because you should be writing blogs, articles, new landing pages, FAQs, whatever it is, in line with the keyword strategy based on what you want to rank for. Then you put those keywords in specific content that you've created for that specific purpose. Two different things. Content writing is not SEO marketing. Why? This is a checklist I want you all to take away, which is why I've put it in the presentation. So all the details there and you'll have it afterwards. Key things I want you to focus on. High quality content. Focus on it being informative, relevant, match your audience intent. If they're looking for a PPC agency in Leeds, you can guarantee the content is why we're the number one PPC agency in Leeds. I mean, I don't really make that claim, but you know, if you're ranked number one, we might as well. Focus on keywords. You know, keywords that you organically want to mix with your content and wider elements. For example, a lot of people put their hands up as a B2B company. A lot of services you offer, you want to make sure, if you're an accountancy firm and you want to look at end of year accounts returns as a company, you want to make sure you rank for those specific keywords. Avoid keyword stuffing. Use your headings. People do not use all three headings. There's H1, 2, and 3. Use all of them that are available to you. Check your content length. Don't write a dissertation, but then don't just write a small paragraph either. Don't kill someone with content, but keep them engaged for a certain amount of time. What we say is around about 2,000 words is, you know, a good length of content these days in terms of keeping the user experience. Remember, and Google doesn't really confirm this, but I believe it to be true from conversations I've had with Google experts, is that the longer someone spends on your website or on that specific content, the better you're going to rank. So if someone's typing a specific question or wanting an answer, and your article has it, the longer they stay on your website, and with the internal linking go from one page to another page, Google's going to think that that user had a great experience. So I need to bump that response further up on Google, because a lot of good people have an experience. So when you think about your content, make sure you keep them engaged, not for too long, but enough to take them on a journey from one piece of content to another piece of content on your website. Focus on readability. Don't just put it all there on a website. Headlines, paragraphs, subheadings. Make it easy to follow, easy to digest, and use location-specific phrases. If I type in PPC agency generically, which is just 2 keywords for the UK, I think we're on page 3. Whereas if you type in PPC agency Leeds, we're position 1. Now, I can cover locally, so specific location keywords, because that's technically easier to do than generic across the whole UK. That's going to take a lot more time because a lot more competition, a lot more search volume to that specific keyword. But if you're in, let's say, Liverpool or the surrounding areas, and that's where you are, that's where your store is, or that's where your business is based, and you're targeting local customers, focus on location-specific phrases within your content. Why is keyword research important? You've got to engage with your audience. Understanding your target market and how they want to be found is very, very key. Determine which strategic keywords you want to focus on and create the content for it. Create a content plan and great. Understand which keywords that you rank for already, which ones you don't rank for, create the content from that. Outrank your competitors with smart SEO, and you should focus on answering the following questions. What are people searching for, whether that's globally, nationally, or locally, in terms of what they could be searching for your product or service, but also how many people are searching for it. Look at the search volume. It's easy to rank for longer tail keywords with lower search volumes. It's much, much harder for broader keywords with higher volumes because the keyword difficulty is high. How many people use SEMrush as a tool? Okay, good. So on SEMrush, you get the volume, you get the keyword difficulty when you're typing it in. So use that to your advantage to prioritize which content to do first and which content's going to take a longer time for you to rank on. And again, the best format is to provide that is through how-to guides, FAQs, blogs, or new landing pages. Keyword intent. Again, SEMrush. How many people look at the keyword intent element on their keywords in SEMrush? He's doing really well, the one over there. Putting his hands up for everything. So you've got 4 different types of keyword intent. Informational. So that's like how to clean sneakers. So if you want information about keeping your sneakers clean, so I bought these sneakers and you can't really see them, they're on brand. So I will use that to look at how to keep them clean because they cost a lot of money. Navigational, so people look for specific elements such as, like I said, advanced sneakers as an example for that. Now what the issue is too many people focus on commercial and transactional intent keywords. You need to have some informational and navigational keywords, a good blend on your website to help Google. You can't just focus on the hard sell. You've got to take people on a journey. There's a great example by Olay where if you used to type in dark circles under your eyes, Olay would pop up with the product information. This is the product you need. Now if you type in dark circles under eyes, it talks about the causes of dark circles under eyes. Best practices, like how to improve your sleep, different types of creams and what it means. It's more informational and navigational that leads to commercial and transactional intent keywords. So commercial is best sneakers for walking, so a particular purpose, and then transactional is buying sneakers online. So you might type in, I don't know, Nike sale, and then do one, but Nike sale for 10% off, look at something like that. Remember why keywords is important. It reduces your bounce rate, lets you reach wider audiences, improves your conversions, and it allows you to feature in specific snippets on Google. So on page in a nutshell, focus on page content, headers, URLs, meta titles, image alt text. So if you upload an image to your website, don't forget to put a description. What is this image? What does it mean? It helps with your rankings and descriptions of what you're doing, and internal linking. So for example, if I'm doing this talk about why you're not ranking position 1 and I do a blog about it, another element is going to be, top tips for SEO in 2023 linked to that. Another link will be to, the latest Google updates in terms of what it means for SEO and your business and trends. Make sure you're linking your content to other relevant content on your website. SEO copywriting. There's a quick checklist that I've added in that I want you to follow. Avoid duplicate content, and that's where ChatGPT comes in. I get this question a lot after the talk. Remember, if you type in the same question to ChatGPT or request the same, ask the same thing, 9 out of 10 times it's going to have a lot of duplicate content in terms of response it gives. It's not going to give you, me, and everyone else in this room a unique, different response. Whereas the same question is going to give the similar response to it. Remember, it's a bit different, so use it as a foundational element. But the problem we're having with a lot of websites that come to us is it's just ChatGPT written copy and paste. It's great to get that first leg or first step on the ladder, as we say, in terms of, let's say you don't know where to begin with the content, but don't just copy and paste it. Customize it, write each content based on your content and keyword strategy that you should have, and avoid keyword stuffing. Link outreach, the final pillar. So off-page SEO, so that's every action taken off the website. So it's got nothing to do with the on-page content, it's got nothing to do with the technical elements of websites, it's all about building your authority. And the best way to do that is through backlinks. Hands up if you know what a backlink is. Great, fantastic. So this should all make sense. There's 4 types of backlinks you can get. You've got natural links, so an example of that is if you go to the Marketing Showcase website, they will link back to our homepage because we're an exhibitor, I'm doing a seminar talk. I've not actually got that. That's, organically, naturally built because we're partnering with someone, they've decided to link back to our website. The best one is manually built links, backlinks. So that's where you work with an outreach supplier or you work with content writers or PR agencies where you go out and you try and get custom content on a website, an article, for example, if you're B2B in law, you're going to talk about top 5 key elements impacting this new law element that's come out. You want to make sure you do a relationship with key publishers, custom written content, but your link going not just to your homepage, to that specific landing page you want it to go to on your specific website. Then you've got self-created links, so that's where you go on forums, blogs, yahoo.com, and you put the links there yourself. They're good, but they're not that very strong. Then you've got Web 2.0, so where you go on blogs, Reddit, for example. People do a lot of posts on Reddit, or like YouTube, in the comment section. So these are like Web 2.0, where you want to be in the description of someone's video, for example, and have a link back. These went back to us, again, a bit of a weak strategy, focus on manual. Remember, it's quality over quantity. Don't just go away and go buy 100 backlinks. A, that would be too expensive if you want high DA backlinks, but focus on quality over quantity. Follow versus no follow. So again, what you find with these links is some will follow to your website, so that means there's an actual hyperlink to that specific website, to your landing page. No follow is there's no actual follow. So if you use Ahrefs as a tool, it tells you which anchor text is no follow because it actually pulls it up. It says no follow and it'll say follow. No follow provides no value to your website in terms of its domain authority or helping with your rankability or clickability. That means you're being mentioned. So that's like us being mentioned on the Showcase website, but no links being on there back to our website. Doesn't really give me value. You guys knew who we are, but you have to then manually search for us as a company and then click on a link. Domain authority. Now, hands up if you know what domain authority is. Good, fantastic. So if you go on SEMrush as a tool, you see your domain ranking and authority. Now, Google has said it's not a ranking factor, but I'm calling BS, to be honest with you. I don't believe it. Don't believe everything Google tells you. So a good DA should be between 40 and 60. So if you have a DA of, let's say, 19 or 15, you're not going to get a lot of good DAs when you go out and buy these backlinks from good 50, 60, 70, 80, DA websites. You've got to build your DA authority up. And it's the thing that takes the most time. It doesn't happen overnight. You've got to build your authority by following the first two pillars first, then you can focus on this element. So a DA is good, but focus on a page authority than DA. Remember, the page authority of a specific website is better. So the reason our DAs, I think we're around about 28 as an agency, so just below. We have a new website coming out next month because of it. But the page authority of that PPC service pages is why we rank position 1. When I know there's other competitors and other agencies that have a stronger DA. So DA isn't the be and end all. Remember, page authority over domain authority, focus on the page directly. And just to leave you with some Google updates that people aren't aware of, and that's why I've done the presentation in this format, so you can click on it. The key ones I want to highlight is the March update and the April update, which was key. So have a click on those links. Websites like Search Engine Land are fantastic. As soon as an update comes out, you can expect within 24 hours for someone in their team to actually give the crux of it. So if you want to get ahead of the updates that Google comes out, remember, Google does not give out a document anymore about the update that it's doing, so it didn't do that with Call Web Vitals. Yeah, unfortunately, we have to work out what it's done afterwards, and it gives some resources. Remember, if you've got videos on your website, the thumbnails are about to change. It's not directly affecting rankings. It's something you want to look at. And the key one is the way search is going is going to change. It's scary but exciting. Have a read about that. Remember, search engine results pages. Have a read about that because that's the next big kind of update happening second half of this year, and you want to get ahead of it. I want you to what if there's like 10 things to go away with. These are 5 things I want you to focus on. Check your Call Web Vitals from a technical perspective. Focus on long-tail keyword questions, like high-quality long-form content. Keep up with the basics of SEO. If you want to know what the basics of SEO is, it's that entire deck and presentation that I've just given you. And focus on keyword research, specifically if you focus in a niche. I'd like to thank you for your time. Hopefully that's been some educational. I'll be heading back to my stand around the corner where we've got cupcakes for everyone to take away in little boxes. Feel free to come up to me, ask any questions that you have. I'll be happy to answer them and go with them. You've been a fantastic crowd. Thank you very much.